What we witnessed in that first game was nothing short of spectacular. From the opening tip-off, the team came out with energy, focus, and a hunger that had fans on their feet and analysts scrambling to update their playoff predictions. It's that kind of performance that reignites hope and stirs up conversations across the entire basketball world. And speaking of conversations, let's just say the rumors are heating up, and fast. You can feel the buzz. If you're one of those fans who lives and breathes this team, who wakes up checking highlights and sleeps thinking about matchups, then you're exactly where you need to be. This is your zone. We're getting closer and closer to hitting that amazing milestone of 85,000 subscribers. That's not just a number, that's a community, a growing squad of fans who live for these moments, who follow every bounce of the ball, every trade whisper, every pre-game warm-up and post-game reaction. Whether it's injury reports, player updates, or just the raw emotion of a clutch fourth quarter, this is the space where it all comes together. And if you were with us for the live viewing party during that incredible night against Houston, you know what I'm talking about. Over 200,000 people tuned in. That's not just support. That's a movement. That's a statement. So to everyone who's just now finding their way here, welcome. And to the diehards who've been locked in since day one, this one's for you. Let's talk basketball. Let's talk about what might be the most dangerous duo in the entire NBA right now. I know there are teams out there with big threes and even deeper rotations, but is there any other 1-2 punch delivering at this level with this kind of chemistry? What we saw in that first game wasn't just talent, it was a masterclass. The way those two players connected on the court, it was almost telepathic. Every shot one of them put up felt like it was destined to fall. He was pulling up from 17 meters out like it was nothing, bearing threes that had no business going in, and doing it with a confidence that just breaks an opponent's spirit. His running mate just as impressive, playing the perfect counterpart. Whether it was off a high pick and roll or slipping behind the defense to finish strong at the rim, he was always right where he needed to be. It's not just about stats with these two, it's about presence. It's about how they command the game, how they open up space for others. One creates, the other capitalizes. Together, they've given this offense a whole new identity, and when we break it down even further, you start to see how transformational this duo really is. Since the trade, there's been a shift in how this team attacks. You got one guy who can get to the free throw line with ease, stop on a dime, pump fake, and draw contact. He scans the floor like a seasoned point guard, looking for the open man, punishing defenders who collapse too early or stay glued to shooters. That kind of awareness, that kind of control is something this team has been missing for a long time. Before, there wasn't that elite shot creator who could manipulate defenses and make the right reads. Now, there's movement off the ball. There's purpose in the spacing. Different players are initiating actions, and it's unlocking parts of this roster we hadn't really seen before. But for all the fireworks and for all the brilliance we witnessed from the stars, one question still looms large. Who's going to step up when it matters most? Because come playoff time, adversity is inevitable. What happens when your top scorer misses a few shots in a row? What if he's on the bench in foul trouble? What if the rhythm just isn't there? We've seen it before. Hot hands go cold. And when that happens, someone else needs to rise. That's why the second quarter of that first game was so fascinating. Those two stars accounted for 12 of the team's first 18 points. Then one of them checked out early in the second quarter, and what followed was an 18-5 run. Not led by the stars, but by the supporting cast. No one player lit it up, but the contributions were there. You get 5 points in a quarter from someone like Guy Santos, and suddenly things feel a little more balanced. That's the kind of role playing you want. Guys stepping into open looks and knocking down shots when it matters. And they did it. Threes from Draymond, from Hield, from Pods, all in that second quarter stretch, allowed the team to hit halftime with a 13-point lead. That's the formula they'll need moving forward. But sustaining that kind of production isn't easy, and the third quarter showed us just that. Houston came out swinging. They erased what was a 23-point deficit down to single digits. The bench that had looked so poised in the second quarter started to struggle, shots stopped falling, turnovers crept in, and just like that, the game was back on the edge. But then, in the final frame, someone stepped up. Pods hit a couple of clutch shots, and out of nowhere, Moses Moody, 5 of his 7 points came in that fourth quarter. 2 huge buckets, one on a tough falling jumper while dribbling against the clock, and another on a wide open three from the corner. And while those plays might not make the top 10 highlight reel, they were crucial because Moody hasn't exactly been lighting it up recently. To see him come through in a game that was tight against a top tier defense, that was big. That mattered. He brought defensive presence too, guarding guys like Jalen Green and Van Vliet. He fought through screens, closed out hard, and made things uncomfortable for Houston's creators. We need to see that kind of energy consistently though, not just in spurts, not just when the lights are brightest. Because if this team wants to go deep, it's going to take more than just star power. It's going to take sacrifice, discipline, and maybe most of all, trust in the role players. That brings me to a big question for you. When the stars aren't at their peak, when one's cold or the other's sitting, who do you trust to take that next step? Who do you think needs to elevate their game the most to keep the team alive during those critical stretches? Think about it. Drop your answer. Because this next game is coming fast. And there are still plenty of adjustments to be made. One area that can't be ignored heading into game 2 is the possession battle. It's not glamorous, it's not flashy, but it's absolutely vital. In that first game, the opposing team managed to secure more possessions, and it wasn't just by accident. The issue boils down to size, to rebounding, and to the kind of physical presence that this squad just doesn't have right now. When you're facing a team that can put both Steven Adams and Alperen Sengun on the court at the same time, you're in for a physical war. Those two alone bring a rebounding rate that borders on absurd. We're talking offensive rebound percentages over 50%. That means every missed shot isn't just a chance for you to get the ball back. It's a coin flip on whether they're going to turn that miss into an extra bucket. That's a massive problem. Steven Adams alone grabbed 5 offensive rebounds. In that game, 5. The entire team? Just 6. And that's not even accounting for the extra opportunities Adams created by tipping the ball back out to the perimeter, giving shooters like Jabari Smith another crack at a clean look. He doesn't get credited for those kinds of deflections, but the impact is real. It's those gritty second chances that change the outcome of close playoff games. Adams is the type of player that doesn't light up the scoreboard, but absolutely controls the flow of a game in ways that don't show up in the basic box score. That imbalance in physicality forced the coaching staff to get creative. We saw a rare lineup, Kayvon Looney and Quinton Post sharing the floor. That duo had only played about a minute together all season, but there they were side by side in a high-stakes playoff environment. And it didn't go well. Quinton Post, for all his size, is struggling defensively. He's fouling too much, getting caught flat-footed on switches, and doesn't have the timing yet to anchor a defense at this level. Looney, for all his toughness, and smarts, is still undersized against giants like Adams. It's a mismatch, and you could feel it. The truth is, this team doesn't have the personnel to win that battle inside. And the bad news, Adams and Sengun aren't the only bigs they'll have to deal with. Jabari Smith didn't even play in the last couple of matchups due to a groin issue, but he made his return in game 1 and picked up right where he left off. He impacted the game late in the third and early in the fourth quarters, helping his team close the gap and shift the momentum. He's expected to log serious minutes in this series, and that means one more dominant rebounder to account for. So, what's the solution? It's not about matching size for size. You're not suddenly going to grow 7-footers on your bench. It's about execution. It's about limiting turnovers, creating quality looks, and hitting threes. This team needs to shoot at least 37% from beyond the arc to keep up, because if they're not making shots, they're not getting extra opportunities to make up for it. We saw what happens when you give the opponent too many. Second chances, those are backbreakers, and some of those came off sloppy passes, moments of hesitation, or just lapses in focus. There was one in particular late in the game where a careless pass led to an offensive rebound and an easy bucket. That's the kind of sequence that sticks with you. That haunts you if you lose. That's why composure is everything now. This team is experienced. These players have been through the wars. They've been in finals. They know what it takes. That kind of pedigree matters. It came up in the post-game conversations. The vets talked about it. Managing runs, holding on to momentum, not letting a bad quarter turn into a bad game. That's the difference between contenders and teams that flame out in the first round. The younger squad across from them, they've got energy, they got legs. But do they have the mental game? That's the real test coming up. And then there's the elephant in the room, Jonathan Kuminga. If you're watching this, I'm betting that name is a big reason you clicked. And rightfully so, because the situation is getting harder to ignore. Once again, he didn't play. Not a minute. Not in the play-in. Not in the regular season finale. And not in game 1. And look, I get it. Since coming back, Kuminga just hasn't looked right. He hasn't fit into the system. Offensively, he's been a disruptor in the worst sense. He's not moving off the ball, not creating space. And when the ball is in his hands, the offense slows to a crawl. It stagnates. There's no movement or no flow and no threat. He's not rebounding well, not creating for others, and frankly, he hasn't earned the minutes. But that doesn't mean his future isn't important. Because here's the thing, he's about to hit restricted free agency. And with full bird rights, he could be looking at a raise north of 20% from his current salary. He's making about $7.6 million right now. So yeah, the math gets tight. And with base year compensation rules in effect, any sign and trade scenario becomes tricky. Golden State would only be able to count half of his new salary in outgoing value, while the receiving team would have to count the full amount. That complicates things. There's already chatter about potential destinations. Brooklyn keeps coming up. Insiders have linked the Nets to Kuminga for a while now. Could he be heading there in 2025? Maybe. Do I want the team to lose him for nothing? Absolutely not. But did they miss the chance to trade him at the deadline? Probably. If they had no intention of playing him, they should have moved him when the market still saw upside. And let's be honest, paying $30 million a year to a guy not even in your rotation, that's not sustainable. That's how good teams get stuck. So now we've got to talk options. What happens if Brooklyn offers him a deal? Do the Warriors match? Should they? $30 million is a big number for a player with question marks. If they match it, they're betting big. And in a cap-tight situation, that's dangerous. Teams like Boston can take those risks. This team, not so much. Because if Kuminga doesn't develop into a top-level contributor, then he becomes a financial anchor. You're paying for production you're not getting. That's the worst-case scenario. A depreciating asset. Some fans have floated the idea of a sign and trade. Send Kuminga to Brooklyn, bring back someone like Cam Johnson. I love that fit. Cam is a proven 3-and-D wing, shoots 40% from deep, defends multiple positions, and can contribute right away. He's making $20.5 million next year, which fits the framework. That kind of player could make this squad a real threat. But again, Brooklyn doesn't have to trade. They could just make the offer and see if Golden State bites. That's the power of restricted free agency. So what do you do if you're in the front office? You got Steph, Draymond, and potentially Jimmy still in the mix for the next couple of years. You're chasing one last run. Do you risk locking in a piece who doesn't fit just because you don't want to lose him for nothing? Or do you move on, take the L, and reset with players who can help now? That's where this thing gets real. That's the decision coming. Up fast. The way things are unfolding, it's clear that Kuminga's time with this team is running out. It's not official, but the writing's on the wall. He's not in the plans. And while that might be disappointing, it also opens the door for smart front office moves, deals that actually fit the current core. Because if this team is serious about contending, they've got to optimize every roster spot, every dollar, and every possession. We'll be keeping a close eye on any updates around Kuminga and the team heading into Game 2. If something breaks, you'll hear it here first. Stick around. This series is far from over, and the storylines are just getting started. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going! In a shocking turn of events, Golden State Warriors fans received devastating news as Stephen Curry has been confirmed to be sidelined for the remainder of the playoffs due to a significant injury. The star point guard, widely regarded as one of the greatest shooters the NBA has ever seen, will miss the team's crucial postseason games, leaving a massive void in the Warriors lineup. Curry sustained the injury during a recent game, and after undergoing medical evaluation, it was revealed that the issue will prevent him from returning to action anytime soon. While specifics of the injury have been kept under wraps, sources indicate it is a lower body concern, which, given Curry's importance to the team's offensive schemes, is a major blow for Golden State. The Warriors, who have relied heavily on Curry's shooting ability, leadership, and playmaking throughout the regular season now face an uphill battle in their pursuit of another NBA championship. Curry's absence comes at a critical juncture, with Golden State looking to capitalize on their experience and roster depth in the playoffs. However, without their leader on the floor, the team will need to quickly adjust. Golden State has been no stranger to adversity in recent years, overcoming injuries and roster changes. But losing Curry at such a pivotal moment in the season presents a challenge unlike any they've faced in the post-Kevin Durant era. His absence places even more pressure on the likes of Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins to step up and shoulder the burden. The team's success in the postseason may now hinge on their ability to adapt to a game plan without Curry's presence. The injury also raises concerns about Curry's long-term health and his ability to bounce back in time for next season. As one of the league's most durable players despite his injury history, many will be watching closely to see how he recovers from this setback. For Golden State, this is more than just a lost playoff run. It's a moment that could reshape the future of the franchise. As fans and analysts alike scramble to assess the team's chances without their star player, one thing is certain: the Warriors will need to dig deep and rely on their depth, heart, and championship pedigree if they're to remain competitive in the postseason. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.